And I used to see people doing this warm up, So if you study anatomy, you know that your knee is a hinge joint. It is not a socket and ball joint. But why are there lots of athletes that are doing things that will eventually lead to erosion of your cartilage? You know, meta-analysis has shown that warm up actually improves performance by 79%. Okay, but there is some that actually do not improve or that makes the situation worse. 17% shows that there is a decrement. Why is that so? Okay? It is found that many of the athletes' warm-ups were not suited to the games or the activities that the athletes is about to perform. So warm-up, we have to think first before we decide what is best for the athletes. It's not that the whole group of you, it doesn't matter whether you're a short putter, you're a runner, you're a footballer, you do the same warm up. No, because you need different parts of your body to do. So the warm the inflammation slows down the blood flow, slows down everything, and increase of swelling because of slowing down of the lymphatic return. Now, the optimal loading is proven to aid recovery through cell regeneration. Now, light mechanical loading in early injury stage is advised. Okay, so loading and motion have a transient and persistent systemic effect, including alterations in the cardiovascular function, tissue perfusion, metabolism, and also hormonal balance. Now, icing is not that it's no good. It's actually good, but it has a very short-term effect, and it is actually very, very superficial. Okay, it is actually the effect on the injury is that it numbs skin, and the cooling effects give you comfort, give the athletes comfort. Okay, so has it any impact on the underlying muscles? That is almost non-existent. Okay, and by this icing, there are many types of icing. So if you go into icing, if you use ice cube direct on the injury, or you use cold water on the injury, there is a lot of difference, right? So we do not want to use ice cubes, which is extremely cold, and it has got a latent effect, and it is not good for acute injury. So the argument is that the healing process needs inflammatory cells to release insulin-like, we call it the IGF-1, right? This factor is the one that is going to promote healing, okay? So this will stop, if it is removed, it will stop inflammation. And no inflammation means poor healing, right? So the three sequence of recovery, we know that we need inflammation, then we have tissue repair, then finally we have remodeling, okay? So if this sequence is disrupted, repair will definitely be affected, okay? So icing lowers microcirculation by more than 60%. So that means it will remove the inflammatory process, and we need the inflammatory process. So vasoconstriction actually impedes the transport of inflammatory chemicals and neutrophils to the site of trauma. And Ledbetter says that inflammation can occur without healing. That means you can have inflammation, but healing, because of certain consequences, does not happen. But healing cannot occur with inflammation. That means inflammatory process is a requirement for proper healing of tissues. If you still want to ice, okay, these are the recommendations that if you still want to ice, actually it's largely based on what has been passed down to us, and we believe that this is what is useful, okay? There is no evidence of optimal mode or duration of treatment. That means how long do you want to ice? How you want to ice? What sort of icing are you using? Is there an evidence to show that there is one good way of icing, okay? Now the literature, if you look at literatures in the clinical setting, it is recommended that ice application of 20 minutes continuous, okay? And the temperature is at 0. So if it is -4, -5, like in ice cubes, it's actually not good. And it is to be performed every 2 hours, okay? Now intermittent icing is to be performed every 10 minutes, rest at room temperature, then you continue and repeat that. Okay, so the application, you can do it up to 72 hours. Now this has been advised. If you still want to continue to ice, you can do it. Okay. Now we look at the role of NSAIDs in acute injury. NSAIDs will not accelerate healing, but may actually delay. So this is something that is a truth or a dare. You can say that it's a truth, but I will dare you to take this into mind, and you can do a research and see whether without NSAID in the acute injury, does it improve the healing rate of healing, okay? Because we feel that NSAID inhibits the synthesis of prostaglandins, which will initiate inflammation, okay? So maybe you should think about this and see whether is this a new way of improving the rate of healing in athletes, which we require good and fast healing. Now athletes can ask sometimes, you know, why my rehabilitation is not successful. So we come into this area of what we call exercise prescriptions. No, you have to review your athletes. Are you prescribing the correct treatment? Are you giving too much to the athletes or too little? Or there is no progression, the athletes keep on doing the same treatment? Or is the athletes doing the exercise correctly? You may show the athletes this exercise. He perceived that when he goes home, he perceived that the exercise is done that way. So you actually have to review the exercise that has been taught to the athletes, okay? Now, exercise is actually very vital for every individual patient or person or athletes, okay? Exercise is taught not based on what the therapist feels is good for the athletes, okay? Because the athletes should be able to, you should assess the athletes and find out actually what is suitable for the athletes, not what I think is right, okay? Just look at this video. Everybody can say, I can do this exercise, I've seen this exercise, I've done this exercise. Yes, even a cat can do abdominal crunch, right? But is the cat doing it correctly? No. Is this the correct way of doing it? So it refers to us as athletes too, right? Because we may think that what we are doing is correct. Like a housewife, when we ask, are you doing exercise? Yes, every day I sweep the floor, I mop the floor, I clean the windows. This is exercise and it's good enough for me. But to us, health professionals, we know that that is your household chores. Everybody has to move, and that is not exercise. Exercise means you must be doing a specific exercise at a taken time to do it. It's not your household. And some says, I go for walks every morning, but it's my exercise. But do you call that exercise? No. Because when you walk, you keep on talking to your friend about the movie that you watch. You're not really walking. When we walk, we should walk at a pace where you become breathless but not speechless. Then only we call it walking. Okay? So exercise prescription is actually, according to ACSM, a specific plan of fitness-related activities that are designed for a special purpose, which often developed by a fitness instructor or rehabilitation specialist for the client or the patient. So if you look at this guideline by ACSM, then you know what is exercise prescription. Proper assessment and special tests are carried out before the prescription exercise. That means the physiotherapists or your sports specialist doctors will have to do specific tests to find out whether this exercise is suitable for you. Prescribing an exercise is very individualized. If A and B both doing the same sports come to you, but the exercise you're going to prescribe for A and B is definitely different. It's not going to be the same exercise because A is not B, B is not A, okay? So it is never a cookbook approach where you can prescribe for 20 athletes at the same time when you are doing your training, okay? So it is highly discouraged that you prescribe the same exercise for every individual patient. So what is optimal or correct prescription? Okay, it requires the right exercise with the right dosage and at the right time. Time means the stage of injury or stage of training, because this can be applied for training as well. Okay, and the therapist must understand and apply training principles effectively in the presence of pathology, the patient's pathology, the injury, the treatment given by other health personnel on the otherwise unhealthy tissue. So exercise prescription must be smart. And smart refers to, it must be specific to that individual, okay? And then it must be measurable. You must be able to measure what you have given to the athletes. Must be achievable, must be relevant, and must be time bound. That means you have to make sure that when you prescribe the exercise, you have to tell the patients or the athletes how many times to do, how much to do, right? So specific means specific type of exercise that is suitable only for that patient and is targeted at the desired group of muscles or muscle, right? And the number of times, it must be measurable, countable, okay? And the time that is set. The A means it's achievable. Can the athletes perform and achieve what you want? And the results are seen and documented. R is whether it's suitable or not, the condition for that person, for that condition, okay? And also whether the environment is correct, okay? Now if you exercise in a cold environment and you exercise in a hot weather, is again different, right? And whether you can achieve what you have set for the patient, right? So if you set a goal within a time frame which is not achievable, then you know that you are doing too much. Okay, so the principles of exercise prescription, we have to follow the FITT or the FITT-BP. Usually, those days we only do FITT, but now we have come up to the volume. That is very important, and also the progression. We always forget about the progression. So now frequency means how often you're going to prescribe this exercise, how much the athletes have to do, and the time or duration, how long you have to do. The time, mode, what kind of exercise, okay? And the volume means the amount, total amount that is to be done, and the progression means how are you going to advance the exercise. Okay? The rate of progression actually depends on the individual's health status and the injury and the recovery. Okay? The fitness of that particular person, the training response of that particular person, and also the exercise programs and goals. So these are the things that you have to take into consideration every time you train or you give treatment to an injured athlete. Now progression, you can do it by increasing any of the components in the FITT, right? You can improve the time, you can repeat the number of times that the patient is doing, you can change the exercise. So this is how you progress. So recovery and compliance is very important to an athlete or to your patient. Because if there is no compliance, there is no point treating them. You tell them to do all this, they go home, they will sit on the couch and watch TV. And there is not going to be any improvement, okay? So it does not only depends on your correct supervision and the prescription, okay? It has to depend on the commitment and the compliance of the injured athletes, okay? So education and empowerment is very important. The clients should be able to comply. So if you overload the patient with too many exercises, the first visit you give the patient 10 exercises, definitely the patient is not going to comply. But if I give the patient 2 exercises, the next time he comes back, I give another 1 more. The next time he comes, I give. And definitely there will be compliance. So my take-home message is that a wise man, therefore, proportions his belief to the evidence, okay? So I've shown you evidence. Somebody has shown you a lot of evidence. Here, read a lot of evidence. But you must be wise enough to proportion his belief to your evidence. Not everything you see as evidence is correct, right? So honestly, to tell you, I have been involved in some research, and the result comes out that both arms is the same. But because this is a paid research, we have to move and make it significant. So you see, whatever it is, we never take everything that you read in the research as 100% correct, okay? So what is evidence actually? Evidence is factual knowledge or data that supports, okay, that lends support to or cast doubt. So if you see something and you say that it's evidence-based and you feel that this is not right, you will tend to have some doubts now, whether this evidence is correct or not, okay, about this hypothesis, okay? So I would like to end with a wise statement by Eleanor Roosevelt. She says that great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds will discuss people. So today, after my talk, I hope that all of you will have great minds. Discuss ideas that is put forward. Are you going to use NSAID now? Are you going to continue icing? Are you going to start loading your athletes and say that no rest, complete rest is no good for you? So these are ideas we're going to either debunk it or accept it as truth. To accept it as truth, you have to personally experience it. That is the best, as Dr. Lee, this morning we were talking about it, right? Because whatever you read in research or whatever, please do not take 100%. Okay? With that, I would like to say thank you.
Sir? Can I? Dr. Lim? Can I? 1 minute.
You are very eager to ask questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Yusupan, for the insightful presentation. And then, of course, she covered from warming up and warming down, and then after that, you talk about treatments, you talk about exercise prescription, and also, I learned something like the smart prescriptions of exercise. It's actually also because in sports psychology, we use a lot of smarts. And then also, you talk about today, I learned something new as well, FITT-VP. Is, you know, most of the time we're talking about FITT, but this time, today you add in VP, yeah? And then also the, most importantly, because she's physiotherapy, so she's always talking about education to the athlete when after the treatment, and also she's talking about complying from the athlete, whoever got the treatment. So with that, I think it's very insightful, cover the whole spectrum of this area. So now I open the floor for question because Dr. Bhatia is like, wow, I want to ask question. Okay, please.
There's no question. As a lot of students and young people are there, I would like to add something.
Sure.
Firstly, you spoke about deconditioning. Yes, deconditioning not only reduces your strength, but 3 months of deconditioning, you loses muscle size also. You lose 4 grams of skeletal muscle every day after 3 months of inactivity. Just imagine that so many people who have never done exercise, they are losing every day 4 grams. That amounts to almost 10 kilos in a decade. Secondly, you lose 1.27 grams of bone every week after only 3 months of deconditioning effect. So these are the physiological changes taking in the muscle, along with a lot of biochemical changes, increase in LDL, decrease in HDL, and total cholesterol content raises, and all your immune capacity also goes down. So 3 months is a very probation period to go into deconditioning effect. Secondly, coming to the icing, the icing word itself is wrong because it is a cold therapy. Because we used ice as a cold therapy, that is the problem with the temperature. But ideally, like I have been a sports doctor to more than 50-60 teams past 40 years, ice therapy, I mean cryotherapy, the benefit is you cannot rule out, you cannot say there is no benefit. Because we used to put cold therapy and pack them and again make them play in a field hockey. Yes, as she said, duration of cold therapy is very, very important. If you give more than 10 minutes of cold therapy, then you have your events are different because it strictly stops all your lymphatic drainage. She did mention, but the duration is precisely 8.5 minutes of cold therapy continuously on your tissue. It stops your lymph drainage. So how will you remove your metabolites? How will you introduce a lot of repairing? So this is very, if you want to do cold therapy, firstly don't put ice. It can be 1 to 8 degrees centigrade temperature cold pack. That is, and don't put ice directly on skin, it can have a cold burn. And to reach more tissues, you have to do repeatedly. You can repeat cold therapy every 1 hour. We will give normally 20 times, 30 times a day for an acute injury, and especially sprain and strain and pull and contusions. These are the 4 injuries, your cold therapy. And don't cross more than 72 hours. That is very important. 72 hours is very important because after that the body changes and then you need to go for a contrast bath and warm pack later on. Coming to warming up, yes, there is a sports specific differences in warming up, but the composition of warm up is very important. Composition of warm up. It should be first aerobic jog or cycle, then you mobilize your joints, then you do the stretching. What do we people do? Just put our leg and stretch the cold hamstring, you get a muscle tear. So aerobic jog, mobility exercises and stretching and your sports activity. When you come down, the limbering down, cooling down, you do the reverse procedure. Because your already body is warm, you can do post stretch and then mobility and bring your engine to the normal level. So I thought these things are very important for students. Thank you very much. It's a great presentation.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Baktia, to add in more knowledge to the students and then strengthen whatever Ms. Yusufen have been. Is there any other question? If not, we open another question so that, yeah, please.
Actually, it's not a question, but a compliment. Thank you, ma'am. This was a brilliant presentation.
Welcome.
I think we all agree. Can we give her a clap? This was so succinct and clear, and in fact, it added to my dream plan. So I open this to the entire floor. One of the dream projects that I've always had is making the country active, finding solutions, especially because as a psychologist, I work in mental health. And the biggest challenge for mental health and depression is that exercise is written by every damn doctor. And every patient goes home and sits and looks at that and goes like, I don't know where to begin. Now, when I heard Dr. Lee in the last conference, I was like, okay, this is what connects to me. And today you have just added more clarity to it by talking about smart prescription. I think that's what we truly need in mental health in India and just for public at large. Like as an exercise psychologist, I tried understanding and I tried telling my therapist and doctor community that you need to be bringing that level down. Don't tell them to just exercise, simplify it for them, but probably I didn't have the answer. So now I have the experts with me and I would love to work with you all to probably bring this concept to India, educate the doctor community that what does exercise mean when you tell your patients that go home and exercise. Can it be simpler and easier so that they actually comply to it, adhere to it, right? So I think I open this to the entire floor. I would love all of us to join hands and bring this concept to India. So thank you so much for academically presenting to us and I wish we can actually do this for India now. Thank you.
Thank you for your compliments. With that, I think we come to the end and we need to close the session. I hand it over to the chair.
It is not. It is
As
not.
the chair,
in,
I make sure the co-chair has work to do. Thank you, Dr. Lim, and thank you to Ms. Yusufa.
This is called teamwork.
Huh?
Teamwork.
Yeah, it's teamwork. Let's go for cha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, please wait. We have a certificate distribution where I request Mr. Hevde, sir, to distribute the certificates. I request to please present the certificate to ma'am. Wonderful. Wonderful presentation. Please come. I request again, sir, to please present the certificate to Lee, sir. Done. From this session, what we have understood that you use your body or lose your body.
Oh, I see, sir.
Yeah. Next session. Dr. Singh sir is the former Joint Secretary AIU, President Premier Academy of Sports Science and Physical Education, New Delhi, where the Malik sir is the CEO of International Physical Literacy Association, Hyderabad, and we are going to listen sir tomorrow also in his session. We have Ankita Jain ma'am, she is the consultant psychologist and psychotherapist with the multi-speciality. Thank you, sir. The floor is yours.
Hello. It's okay. Good morning to all. Today I would like to discuss why sports should not be taken as a career. Why should not be taken as a career? Because we put our heart and soul for playing sport throughout the life and end up unemployed. And that's why the brilliant brain and able-bodied people are not coming to sport. We being the largest democracy in the world, but top in hypocrisy in the world. So, I had my 30 years experience. So, sometimes, 3 times Olympic, I had been able to attend that. Now I decided after retirement, sports should be projected as an active, lucrative and productive career, so that the best brain, able-bodied people should come and join. For that, we need a talented youth. India being a gold mine of sporting talent, and potential athletes, nurturing the talent which is available through your selection and brought them to Indian camps and train them. Infrastructure, the training should be done on the infrastructure, best infrastructure. Manufacture means manufacturing of your equipment, your infrastructure should be world standard, otherwise you are nowhere. Structure, competition structure. At the grassroots level, arrange some tournaments where more than winning and losing, you should be able to find out a potential. Potential is always better than performance. Performance is the outcome, potential is to grow further. So this is how we should define. Mainstream, doctor sitting here, he is from the mainstream profession. Virendraji sitting, mainstream professionals. Sports has not been able to penetrate into it mainstream, like engineers, doctors, lawyers, managers. Our manager sitting there is the mainstream professional. So we want to bring that population, those who are picking up sports as a career, that needs to be glamorized first, then you automatically will revolutionize sports. Accordingly, India needs to transform physical education and competitive sports as an attractive, lucrative career option for talented youth in education sector. Education sector, school, colleges and university, these are your nurseries where potential lies and we are not tapping them. Government of India, I have served more than 35 years. They are doing everything at the national level, but neglecting at the grassroots level. Gold medal lies at the grassroots level, not at the national, because at the national level, if we are putting everything, there is no room for much improvement. Because your reaction time has taken place, fixed, your habits are fixed, then you call a lot of foreign coaches, trainers, psychologists, but the potential is fixed at that time. The same help which Government of India is providing to Indian elite athletes, that should be given at the grassroots level. I'm just giving you the example. Why we give the best education to our children at the grassroots level? Why not sports training is given at the grassroots level? This is a discrimination. All IS bureaucrat people, business people are providing the best education there to their children in schools. We are working in Dubai, contract basis. They are calling us to train their trainers. We are not training their students. Otherwise, their teachers will be protesting and they were getting better pay scale for no reasons. Similarly, Government of India should bring experts to teach our coaches. Our coaches know our language, our interest, our ability, everything, because they have in common. But at the international level, the foundation of our athletes has been fixed at the grassroots level and there is no chance of improvement. That's why this time we are going to hire 47 coaches for 2024 Olympics with a huge amount of money, paying in rupees and they're getting in dollars. 80 times more. The same work we can get it done from Indian top coaches under the guidance of foreigner. One foreigner can guide our 20 coaches. So we can save money. So whatever Government of India is doing, they are doing their excellent work, but at the wrong place. India being a youngest nation, if you go, India today is the youngest nation, and this nation can produce world beaters, provided you have a planned program starting from the grassroots level. Our best schools should have infrastructure, top coaches, and one thing which we are neglecting, the nutrition. Nutrition being given at the national level, players will not work more as it will work more at the grassroots level. School children should be well fed, well trained and well monitored. If one looks at the population, resources, size of the country, India deserves to be developed as a sporting nation. We are a big nation, there is no dearth of resources, but proper management, proper utilization of resources needs to be given a top priority. Then we can perform better at the global competitions. National education policy emphasized that commercial and professional benefits of global sporting achievements need to trickle down to the participants. Last man in the school, though he is not to be trained an elite athlete, but he needs to get all facilities, at least for his physical fitness, good health and well-being, so that he should not he should not become a liability to the nation in terms of health care expenditure. Healthy people are visibility of a nation, anywhere in the world, healthy people. Whereas unfit people are a liability to the nation. After the COVID, you have seen the nations which were not fit enough, they are wiped out. And you see how much expenditure. Doctor might be knowing better than me because he has been dealing with such cases. Yeah. Now, Indian sports needs to be a business. Any sport which cannot earn money cannot survive. I'm going to give you an example. Indian 2020 cricket has been included in Olympic Games 2028 because it is a business. It earns a lot of money. More than money, they are attracting eyeballs, not cricket balls, eyeballs. So, for that, physical and mental makeup of participant needs to be changed, thinking patterns, and charged for full capacity building. Build up the capacity of players to turn the sport as a business. Dr. Malik is sitting here dealing with the business sport. He will tell wherever I go wrong. Capacity building that improves your self-belief, self-confidence, and professional image of a sport. If you have the money, you have the mind. If you have the mind, you can get the work done from your muscles. This is all money, speaks its own language. Human mind works as a magnet. Develop human mind. This is body is the only orchestra that sings in one tune, but its conductor is your own mind, human mind. Then human mind should be developed to the peak so that it gets the work done from your body. The body of the athlete should pass through the test of fire and test of fear. If you are able to do it, you project sport as a business, a lot of money will come to you. Then a career in any walk of life as a business, employment, occupation, profession, pursued for a significant period of time with opportunities per person. Any sport or any game or any business, if it doesn't give you your personal growth, achievement, self-actualization, then you will leave the sport in between. Self-motivation is greater motivation than anything else. Self, from within. Centrifugal power of your mind is your self-motivation. Professional career in physical education. Physical education should not be taken lightly, no. It's a serious consideration, a serious profession, because it needs the full development of your body, mind and spirit. Then you can pursue. If you have all these detailed conditioning of mind, I think you can run a better business. Because the career of sport, a playing career, after 30 years I was on road. After playing for the country, I was on road. Then somebody told me, pursue the education in the same field, otherwise you're out. So here you play as long as you can play to any level, but if you want to make it a business, you pursue the education of your ability, your interest, your aptitude. Sport is becoming a business. In India, we have proved that cricket is a business, we should learn from them, and other games should be benefited accordingly. In the modern world, potential students I'm emphasizing on the students, school, colleges and university I have been dealing with. I started my career as a primary school teacher, then got the chance to head university system in the country, highest level. So what was that? I pursued my career along with sports studies. I never give a second thought. So this is, in the modern world, potential students sitting behind, they should, they need to be encouraged to pursue a secure career. If I feel, yes, there is a security of my life, I will put my heart and soul to pursue career and perform to the satisfaction of all the stakeholders to a greater extent. So this is what the professional career, ambition and business goals you will fulfill. Yes, from business, first it was achievement, then we made it a business because due to security of life, then career, self-actualization. In the modern world, physical education and sports science need to be developed as an attractive for changing and challenging demands to meet. So this is how it should be given a special thought. With the science and technology, it's coming up. Convergence of health education with the industrial demands will enable potential leaders to perform professional responsibility. It means if your students are fit enough, then they can perform better, because health is becoming a prime concern to live on the planet peacefully and progressively. Health. If you go for studies on World Health Organization, they are putting a lot of, they have signed one MOU with International Olympic Committee and World Health Organization. Sport is being used as a medicine, as a preventive health care to save money from your expenditure on health care. So fit people always save money. A penny saved is a penny earned. So this is, today after the COVID, health is a big problem. For that, IEOC has signed one 16th of May 2020, one MOU between International Olympic Committee, keeping in mind the possibility and potential of sports to save money on health care. So application of latest techniques play significant role in research collaboration. Sport should be on research-based outcomes. So this will help you. For designing a productive career in physical education and sports, it needs a professional approach. In physical education and sports, it needs a professional approach to attract investments. If you are unable to plan, develop, and deliver, then nobody will come to invest money. So physical education should be designed in such a way that it attracts the participants as well as investments. So actively participation, sports as a development. It develops the society, it develops the nation, because fit people are on the wagon. Unfit people are going to the hospital, or fit people are going to the sports field. Sports field and battlefields are comparable. Where more important than physical fitness is psychological conditioning of an athlete. So it develops a nation. Why otherwise lot of money is being spent on Olympic Games if there is no development of mind, body and nation, then they should have stopped it, because it's very expensive. So India needs to prepare to be a global leader because we have the potential, we have the resources, but need is to plan and implement it. Plan, implement and evaluate our programs. Wherever we go wrong, we should redesign and come back to the public for feedback. There is a large quantity and quality of potential athletes in the pipeline today. It's a fact in life that we have a lot of potential athletes in the pipeline, but they need training, scientific training, professional training under the experts. First, we should train our experts, they will train our students. Then Olympic gold, Olympic performance will be within our reach. So what are the components of sports career for the youth development? It's a lifelong learning. It is not after 30 years, if your playing career is over, you stop it. No. It's a lifelong career, sports and physical education, extending the experiences, connecting and networking, planning for progress, professional development, competitive exposure. This is one of the most important part. We train players, we provide them competitions, but before Olympic, the other sporting nations are providing competitive global exposure to their athletes before raising the degree of difficulty suddenly. So why Indian athletes, including me, we fumbled so many times? Because before participating in Olympic Games, we were exposed directly to Olympic Games. In other countries, they go for exposure. For example, German hockey at that time was leading, German and Australian. So we should have conducted a series either in India or in Australia or in Germany before playing final onslaught. So the acclimatization. Sometimes we are training our players at Patiala, which is National Institute of Sports Patiala. That is a very warm, tropical, and when we are going to play the competition in last Olympics in 2012, London was very cold. Ma'am was telling, warming up. We given them the time to warm up only 10 minutes, and weather was very cold, and we couldn't move. Within first 10 minutes, we conceded 2 goals because we were unable to move properly. Somebody told us, oh, don't come and sit down, go for warm up. Next 25 minutes we equalized. This is how you should warm up. You should acclimatize your players, keeping in mind the temperature of the venue of the competition. We were actually training ourselves in the hot weather when we were participating in it. That was cold. London is having a low temperature. So this is how it comes. Yes, sport is excellence. If you blend your education with your experience, that is the sporting excellence. Physical education and competitive sports deserve to be transformed. Transformation comes through scientific approach only, scientific sport only, under the able people. That is okay. I'm just coming. Sport is a fair play that gives equal opportunities to all. We can discuss because my boss has given me this. Sport is a glamour. You have seen in cricket, glamour. It's an industry today. You have seen glamour in film industry, but you see in cricket, glamour. Then comes sport is a health. If you are saying medal is an indication of a healthy nation, because one medalist comes at the top through a pyramid of all participants and so many other problems, then now you come as a profession. It should give you security of life, money, everything. You should not have a stress. If you are money-wise insecure, you cannot put your heart and soul in practice. If your practice is incomplete, forget about the top performance. Then this is my own experiences. I have not read any book. Myself is a book, experience. Sport as a science. Science is the soul of sport. That's all. Now you can write and you can speak. If you have a good soul, your body will act in the right way. Without talent, sports is nowhere. Identify the talent, nurture the talent, project the talent, then redefine the talent. And talent is nothing if it is not trained. And if it is not trained, it cannot achieve any target. It is in America, when I was student in Springfield College of Physical Education, they taught us three things: talent, training, target, triple T theory. And my senior was Michael Jordan, there, basketball player. We learned, he lost more matches than he won. Wherever he played better than his potential, self-actualization. So, if you are a talent, sport is closer to your heart and you can reach your destination. It's a wonder. Sports is a wonder. You win or lose, but you feel a kind of thrill. That is compensation. After even loss, we don't cry, we celebrate. Even loss, if you can celebrate, it's a world's wonder. Nothing can compensate you if you can enjoy loss. If our politicians, if they get other kids, we get life from the winner and we share. This is what. Sir, 1 minute le lo. Yeah, here, because without this, we are nowhere. Investment. Investment, you can tell us how you bring from public-private partnership. Corporate sector is your pulse for progress, pulse for performance. Bring opportunities to invest, attract them. I think they will help you. Sports as the quality of life. It improves your quality of life. Thank you very much. This is my personal experience. I have written a book. I have mentioned my failures also, fine-tuning. Ultimate dream for winning gold in Olympics, which we could do it practically. My doctor is sitting here, who was with the Indian hockey team as a doctor. He was very hard on players. Now we realize he was right. Otherwise we were scolding him all the time. He is killing him. So anything I can contribute in making sport as a profession, I will be grateful. Chairman, sir.
Thank you, sir. Amazing presentation. Probably I thought this could have been titled like Sports as a World in its Own.
Oh, wonderful.
Because you covered every human experience, every possible thing.
Agree, sir. Agree.
Rather than the career, it really opened opportunities. Career may not be there. I have some examples to give to young people. International Olympic Committee runs this program on the sports entrepreneurship, where the investment funding is given to Olympians to start their business.
Yeah.
And it has been doing very successful. Few of them get quite good funding, and a lot of these athletes are not from the developed countries. Like even Kenya Olympics have come and got this funding. So that's very interesting move from the IOC. Same way for people like you as well. There's a program called the Young Leaders Program by IOC. There's a program called the Young Leaders Program by IOC, where all of you could apply to this program. And if you have a good business plan in sports anywhere in the world, they give you funding, which could be in dollars, $10,000, $20,000 you get a startup funding. But it's very important to look at this whole dynamics of sports as a sustainable business. And once I do IOC, I was talking to Piyush sir that I did a project in the COVID time to make a village equipment sustainable model. We invested 50,000 to set up a village equipment library of sports equipment. Reused, refurbished equipment, just 50,000, and give a membership to each household in a village. And we got 100 membership, each paying 300 rupees a month on day one. All managed by the women and children of the village, but sustainable sports participation in a village. So I think this is very important that it should create business, revenue, the cycle of the economy. So I found it very, very powerful, sir. And I hope there's a lot of takeaway for all of you as well. There are a lot of allied field as well. One example I want to give that, where you do most of the banking transaction, it's a Pine Lab machine if you have seen Pine Labs. They come up with the program second innings. Like they thought the government is not doing enough to have athlete in the government system. So Pine Lab second inning program also is any of the ex-athlete can apply. So they do a psychometric testing what you are good at. I went marketing, social media. So 6 months is your skill evaluation. And then they directly place you to the middle level management. So maybe in time to go, there will be a lot more opportunities. Thank you, sir. I thought of adding these.
Let me have feedback. Actually, this is good. Because one-way traffic is not enough. Two-way traffic should be there.
So I think this was really insightful. So though I think all of us have had this question always, right? Thousands and lakhs of students get into sports and physical education, but only 2-3 can be at the top. So what about the rest of 9,999 people? What happens to them? So though this has been a concept we have known and struggled with, but putting it differently now, that we are not looking at it as jobs, or we are not struggling for money, but we are looking at it as creating a whole ecosystem where all of us think of this as business and probably start looking at more avenues than what we only knew. Maybe I only knew physical education teacher, coach, all those limited options, but what are the other new creative options that can come up?
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank
I
you very
think I
much.
have one option already in my head. So I have a community exercise medicine specialist which is going to be placed. So one physical educator in every psychiatric department and college of India should be there, is my takeaway. I hope all of you also get new ideas. Any questions?
Sir, one more one-liner for my Guruji. Actually, so we shared our hockey, Indian hockey. The one thing in this whole presentation, pre-competition administration management. It kills real players. Imagine you play at 48 degrees centigrade in Chandigarh. You go to Zimbabwe and temperature is 5 degrees. And team is not informed what warm clothes you have to carry, how to protect in that cold, and we failed. And we go to Japan with the rowing team, and they didn't inform what food to be served to the Indian players because Japanese are not geared up to serve you idli dosa. So many times you prepare 4 years for Olympics, and just before you're going for a competition, pura barbad ho jata hai because pre-competition administration management is one of the main area which saves our medals. Performer can die in one loose motion before a competition. So food, his preventive approach plays a major role, and I am telling you this is the best presentation I have ever seen, sir. Really, because this is the need of the hour for Indian sports. sports and fitness field, because we are only thinking we'll just take one medal and die as a, starver, because you have opened a new avenue for a career option for sports and physical education.
Thank you, sir.
I really thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Professor Bhaktiyar. You have raised a very critical question where we suffered a lot due to food, change in weather that disturbs your homeostasis, equilibrium. I agree with you, but our trainer, which includes psychological trainer and your team trainer, so they should know how to adapt to the changing and challenging situations abruptly coming on the way. So that needs to, before your planning, before your training starts, you should know the temperature of the venue of the competition and start training accordingly. Number one, I agree with you. Number two, financial help. The pipeline should not stop. That is a motivation. So that's why I want to develop sport as a business. Money should come. Money should flow in your mind, always sporting. Then, sir, it's a collective thinking. Nobody can develop sport as a career alone from inputs. A team can prepare a team. Any individual, previously what happened? Why Indian sports has not come? Only coach was everything. And that was, coach was not much educated scientifically. Now, at his disposal, mind trainer is there, nutrition expert is there, health checkup is there, everything is there. So he is getting a full-fledged department. IT is there, so we need to work more, collectively sitting together. If we could make sport as a career, lot of people will join. Career means mainstream career. In other country, if you are a sportsman, you enjoy all the benefits of your politically elected man in the parliament. Doctor, you might be knowing, Rick Charlesworth. He was Olympian, captain of Australian team. He played cricket for his country. He played hockey. Being Olympian and parliamentarian, he used to sit together with us and eat whatever is available on the floor. And he thought, here in India, our parliamentarians are not coming to see us on the field, how we are working, what pathetic conditions we are going through. So I think we all should join heads and hands to make sport a lucrative career, and you will not be able to count the medals. That is, I should. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Definitely we will reach to this level when we will be able to develop a human performance lab in India, where in the lab or in the indoor hall or in the indoor stadium, when we will start creating the atmosphere, the air level, the oxygen level and everything to prepare our players for the upcoming event wherever in the world. We can create that environment in the chamber, in the human performance lab. Whenever we will be able to do that, definitely we will achieve same. Otherwise we will struggle the same way what we are struggling now. So with this note, like I say, I request Dr. Rohani Kavude, ma'am, to please distribute the certificate to chairperson, co-chairperson and speaker. Ma'am. Kavude ma'am to Gurdeep sir.
please.
One second. Here. She.
Ma'am to Malik sir. Even please hand over the kit also to sir. Conference kit.
Please look at the camera.
And compliment to Ankita Jain ma'am.
Make a group, please. Make a group.
Ma'am, sir, one group photo.
Come in the center.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you. Without taking much time because we are running behind the time and we are not on schedule time. So I request C. Virender sir to take the charge of the stage, and I request Bhaktiar sir to chair the session and Shatrunjay Kote sir to chair as a co-chairperson. Okay?
Community exercise medicine specialist.
Virender sir is the sports psychologist. Sir is the PD trainer and director You and Me as movement, Madhopur, Hyderabad. And Bhaktiar sir is the MBBS doctor, diploma SS and C, MD in sports medicine from the Switzerland.
Hello? Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. We had wonderful sessions. Yes, sir. And we are going to have another exciting session. And from none other than my great friend and colleague, Dr. Virender. He is a very reputed psychologist. He served psychological support to many echelons of society, starting from young children, from education problems, and finally he is with the fitness and sports community. And his specialty is basically going deep into the brain and molding them and shaping them into the physical activity. And Dr. Virender is an active member of this association itself, with a very largest community of physical education teachers with whom we are conducting this conference now. And he's a vice president there, and he has contributed a lot of lectures and writing material. He has written many books, so he has contributed a credible support to society, and we wish him all the best for his good presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, sir?
Thank you. Thank you.
25 plus 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. And let me appreciate the B.P.C.A. College of Education, Physical Education, for organizing this wonderful international conference. And also, I appreciate all the students of this college. Really, they are giving the best services to all the delegates who are here. Before I start my session, actually I thought of presenting a different material, but when I look at the audience, I could see very few people are there, and that too only students. So I try to take up a topic which can really helpful for the students. So I request all the students to be a little more active. Yes. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, sir. Oh, excellent. I just start with a few case studies. You see, this is my organization. We have been helping people in the different countries. We have regular online consultations with the people. Today, we are going to talk about few case studies and then we'll enter into that, right? See, these players, rifle shooter, shuttle badminton player and wrestler, they are all well trained by the good coaches and they are really practiced very well. But in the competitions, they reach up to the quarterfinals in any competition. The later part, they used to lose the matches. So these three, the players came to me. Fortunately, one of the players are suggested by the coach, and one other player was suggested by somebody, and they approached us. You know pretty well, reaching out to psychologists is a major taboo in the society. You know about it? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Why? If you have any problem, stomach or headache or fever, where do you go? Doctor. Go to a doctor. For what? To get treatment for what? To become better, isn't it? To have the better functionality. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Good. But really, you feel very anxious. You are not able to perform. You are not able to remember. You are not able to reproduce the things what you already know. You are unable to function properly. Your physical health is good, but you are unable to do this. Then where you have to go? You need to go to the psychologist. Fortunately, the environment in India slowly picking up to talk about the psychologist. How do we know that the environment in Indian conditions, psychology slowly is increasing? The idea of a psychologist is increasing. How we can assess? How do we know? What do we know? कैसा पता है कि लोग साइकोलॉजी के बारे में सोच रहे, साइकोलॉजी जाना बोल के सोच रहे, कैसा पता होता है हमें? How do you know? What? Right. What is that? Media. That's good. What is your name? Lohit. Lohit, give a big round of applause for him. See, you are all physical education students, and although you are supposed to train your future students, and they are supposed to, how we are supposed to be? Energetic or weak? Energy बोले तो कैसे मालूम हो रहा है? Make it your presence louder. Yes, sir. Give big round of applause so that everybody can listen. Yeah. See, through media. What media is doing? Giving awareness. You take social media, you take TV media, you take paper media. They keep on writing about the mental health issues, psychological issues. They are taking the inputs from the psychologists. And there is another thing, most important, you all need to know that these days, every film is talking about the psychology. There will be some role. Maybe hero is a psychologist. Heroine maybe, going to a college who is pursuing psychology course. Is it or not? Yes. Some way or other way they are trying to introduce. What does it mean? The films made out of the social reflections. They maybe exaggerate, but it has some soul. They take it from movies. So now if you can talk about these three people, they are very well trained because I interact with the coaches, interact with the parents, interact with their co-players. They say that in the practice match they do wonders. Once they enter into the field, their performance gone. Where the performance will go? You train for more than 2-3 years, sometimes 5 years. Your fitness is good, your diet is good, your skill is good, talent is also good, your strategy is fine. Then question arises that why the failure in the ground, he missed that match? What was the reason? Pressure? Yeah, what is that? What is the meaning of that pressure, mental pressure?
Performance.
Failure? Fear of failure? Did you ever experience before going to the exam, your small experience in butterflies in the stomach? Right? Your tongue become like a wooden plank, isn't it? Your throat become totally exhausted and wait to have water, isn't it? You feel totally drained, right? Once you enter to the exam hall and when you given a question paper, you start writing, your hand shivers, isn't it? Yeah, your palms, leg palms and hand palms become sweaty, is it or not?
Yes.
You keep rubbing, right? You wiping off your face. What are all these things? What are all these? Yeah. What is that? But why it is coming? Because you have been trained by many of the teachers for throughout a year. You invested more than almost 1500 hours. Every day 5 to 6 hours in the college. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
So end of the year, if you can see, almost 250, 300 working days. 300 into 5 hours, 1500 hours. After investing 1500 hours, and when you go to the exam hall, you start experiencing all these things. Why? Why you are not trusting that the amount of effort you could put, 1500 hours of effort you have put, but you are making you feel these kind of symptoms you are experiencing. What's that? ये कहाँ से आता है?
Human nature.
Human nature? Oh.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
Mind.
Oh, huh?
In your mind.
In your mind, so that's fine. But where they are coming? Why they are coming? Overthinking? Expectations. How?
Lack of self-confidence.
Lack of self-confidence. Why you lose self-confidence? Results. What results will make you? Did you see any of the students from the childhood days that they don't care about the exams, straight away come to the exam, they write it and they go?
Yes, sir.
You would have seen, right? 1 or 2% of people, right? How can they be like that? How can they be? वो क्यों ऐसा रहते हैं? हम क्यों ऐसा हैं? Why they are like that? Why you are like that? You are from the same class. You are exposed to the same environment. Thinking about the result. Who or आप? बुरे सोचते हैं, आप सोचते हैं? आप सोचते हैं. क्यों सोचते हैं? For good marks, is it? But you have been doing, right? You have been doing the same thing. You have been trained. You have been learned. You practiced. You get ready for the exam. Then why we need to think once again? Competition is very high. So the same competition is also there for that boy. Why is not feeling? From where these thoughts are coming? The thoughts always come from our database. The information what you carry. From where these feelings are coming? Did you ever challenge? Did you ever search? No, we don't search. We don't think. Why? Because we have a habit of whatever the people say, just take it and go forward. But you know, human being always called emotional. He carries a bunch of emotions always. But we never question that, why this emotion I am getting? Why these thoughts are I am getting? We think that whatever thought we get it, they are all rational, they are right. The information, the database, what you carry, from there you get the thoughts. How information reaches to the brain?
Senses. Eyes.
Yeah, exactly. 5 senses. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
The whole information which you receive it through your all 5 senses, it goes and sits here. And that is your database. From that database, you start thinking, you start looking at the world, you start feeling. Then you feel anxious, and how you try to overcome from that? What is the method of doing? Yeah? You do meditation in the exam hall? Yeah?
Some trigger movements are there.
Some trigger movements are there, okay.
By talking to someone.
Mm-hmm. You allowed in the exam hall to talk to someone?
Not in exam.
Yeah, outside the exam. Isn't it? See, the thoughts which we are experiencing from our own experiences, somewhere your brain starts collecting some old incidents. At that time you could not perform well. Right? Immediately your brain goes to that place and bring out the result and tell you, hey, this time also you are going to fail. Then immediately you don't want that, right? Then your body and brain not ready to accept it. Then immediately complain there. Isn't it? So the thought which is there, it is projecting you to behave. You are thinking that the feeling what you experience is a reality. Whatever the feelings, whatever thoughts we get, we think that they are real. And they are facts. Are they really facts? No. Did you ever check this in your life? No. Because we were not taught by anybody how to understand your feelings, how to understand your thinking. We never taught by anybody to challenge our feelings and thoughts. These three players, they all really trained very well and they went to the competition, right? And during the competition, the opponent player has a very good presentation, movements are good, getting good response from the crowd. Then immediately he started feeling low. He started thinking that I am going to lose this match. He never checked it that why I am getting this feeling. Because my training was good, my coach told that my skill is good, my fitness is also good, I am taking the good nutrition, everything is being done, but I was not trained by how to understand my feelings and thoughts. So whenever your brain experiencing the extreme feelings, any extreme, that you are going to do great thing and you are going to lose everything, both are symptoms of you are undergoing stress. Whenever you are experiencing too much of stress, your brain going to write extreme stories. So when your brain starts writing extreme stories, you need to understand that, oh, I am undergoing stress. Then what you need to do? You need to challenge. Because these people were not trained, they lost the matches and they came to us. Then we are given awareness about the thoughts. First we check their self-esteem also. See, the self-esteem, the self-concept has three elements. One is ideal self, second is self-image, and third is self-esteem. People who have low self-esteem means the way in which they look at themselves, the way in which they validate themselves, the way in which they try to see their efforts and works, if it is very, very low, then their brain starts functioning in different level whenever they face the challenge, when they experience the stress. And these are the 10 common unhelpful thinking patterns. Generally, the brain resort to it. But they are not helpful, they are the most unhelpful thinking patterns. These unhelpful thinking patterns, they say, see, jumping to the conclusions, emotional reasoning, black and white thinking, shoulds and musts, disqualifying positives, mental filtering, personalization, catastrophizing, labeling, overgeneralization. These are all unhelpful thinking patterns. Unfortunately, we were not taught by anybody. So whatever they come into our head, we think that they are all rational, and then they try to hold it, and we keep on responding to these kind of thoughts. So let us see one or two things what really. First thing, all or nothing thinking. What is the all or nothing thinking? We can also say that black and white thinking. We can say it's the electric switch thinking. Electric switch thinking means electric switch, how it functions? You have a light switch is there. On or off. Isn't it? But in between nothing is there. Okay. I share you a simple experience, your life experience, so that you can understand it easily. For example, your birthday was there, you invited your friend, right? For some reason, he did not turn up for the birthday party. All other friends have come. Then what your brain start functioning? How do you think? How do you feel? First you feel disappointed? Yes or no? Then all people start telling you, hey, what happened that ex-friend did not come? You and he is very close friend. How can he cannot come? He went to somebody's friend's birthday and did not come to you. Then your brain starts says that because he did not come to my birthday party, he is not my best friend. If my best friend, if he is my best friend, what he is supposed to do? He must have come to the birthday. Is it or not? So this we call it as a black and white thinking. So players also sometimes, when they are performing, when the badminton player, he thinks that your coach might have told him that really your service is good. In some match, he was unable to do service properly. He immediately start thinking, if I would have been a best player, my every service would have been better. But already I lost 1 or 2 points in the service. Gone. Before any competition or during the training, if coach tells to the athlete, no, you are good in every area, but one area you need to focus. Then immediately the athlete starts jumping to the conclusion that, oh, it seems I am not good. If I did not good in this area, then definitely I am going to lose my match. I am not at all a good player. So these kind of unhelpful thinking patterns, they practice. And because of these unhelpful thinking patterns, which is making the player to become totally dysfunctional at that particular point of time, and then he will be not able to perform better in the competitions. So like that, there are 10 cognitive distortions we call, or we can say that there are thinking errors, unhelpful thinking patterns. Students generally, they participate in. So if you can really know about that, the athletes are really not able to understand this, then if they really take the support of a sports psychologist or psychologist, then definitely helpful for them to make themselves to become better, and they are going to be useful in performing in the competitions as well as any of the matches. Mental filter. This is one most important thing, many of the people start practicing it. You see the negative in any situation, dwell on it and perceive the entire situation is negative. Same thing, these are all one by one, they complement each other. See, once you are not able to perform better in the service, in any match, immediately it tells you that, oh, this is not able to perform, then every game or every ball what I am going to get or I am going to play are really going to become, useless, and I am totally become dysfunctional. Disqualifying the positive. Let's suppose you played very well, right? With great difficulty, you could won the match. And after you matches finished and you reach the dressing room, one of your colleagues or friends and they came to you and they come to you and then started appreciating you. Oh, you really played very well. Immediately start feeling bad because he already had in the mind that he did not serve very well, right? If somebody comes and appreciates you also, you are not ready in a position to take the appreciation. You disqualify this winning, you disqualify your spirit, disqualify with which you have been raising yourself, though you become low for some time, but you could win over the match, but still your brain says that, no, don't accept that appreciation. Maybe that fellow is, making fun of you. Maybe he is conveying his appreciation sarcastically. Though I don't deserve it, he is saying that I deserve it. So this is how our brain sometimes hijacks you. What is the meaning of hijacking?
Take control.
Taking control of all negative things. Is it? And it creates a feeling that it is true. It takes you to the next orbit, start thinking about the negative things, and it creates a feeling that whatever you are feeling, whatever you are thinking, it is true. And you will constantly be in the same feeling that people are appreciating just to make me fun. We call it disqualifying the positive thought. Overgeneralization, jumping to the conclusions, mind reading. So once they have a trouble during the game, during the play, immediately they jump to conclusion. It's going to be a game of हारने वाला है. Yeah, just after just entering into the court itself, they keep getting these kind of negative thoughts because he could not take one or two shots properly. Earlier in the practice match or in the earlier matches also he was able to take it, but this time he failed to do it. Then immediately start feeling that ये हारने वाला है, I'm going to lose it, I'm a loser. They start living and jumping to the conclusions. Yeah. So these are all unhelpful thinking patterns. So then question arises that how we can really make things better, like fortune telling, emotional reasoning, labeling and mislabeling, personalization. These are all things, one by one comes into your head and then it will hijack your performance and it will take away from the present moment and you start thinking about the too much future and how people around us thinking and how people are making me feel bad and how I can face the world, how I am going to face my coach, how I am going to face my family, how I am going to give answer for my friends. All these thoughts keep on popping up and then it's totally become disturbed. And these things sometimes may take the players into too much anxious state, or some players may become totally depressed. So whether anxiety or depression or any kind of dysfunctional performance, it is absolutely because of the wrong methods of thinking patterns. They unknowingly they practice. So if you can go to any professional psychologist, they help you to restructure your thoughts and to make you become more effective. And in that process, there are so many methods are there. If you go to any sports psychologist or psychologist, they help you to restructure your thoughts. There are so many therapies out there. If you are unable to overcome from that, there is a cognitive behavior therapy is there. So they encourage you to follow all the players and athletes. 3C principle. 3C principle says that first catch that unhelpful thought. Second C is check it whether it really rational or not. Are you able to find out any evidence for it or not? Then you change it. Catch it, check it, change it. So any player who comes to us, first we will assess self-esteem, then we will talk to the coach, parents, if possible co-players. Then we will try to see that what are the unhelpful thought patterns are there. Then we will restructure them. Then once their thoughts are restructured, then really they become better. And all the players who are there, they all performed very well after having the counseling sessions. Counseling is not always just with 1 or 2 sessions. You know, first of all, we have to give the psychoeducation, how these counseling sessions really are going to perform, how you need to be, how much honest you are supposed to be, and how much conventional process this is going to be, how we are going to help you. These are all things we try to give them, and then we will try to restructure their thoughts. Then we will help them to give some helpful models by working with him, and then the player start performing better in the competitions.
4 minutes, sir.
This is how the अभी हो गया ठीक है.
No problem.
So these challenging unhelpful thoughts can make it out that first we'll encourage them to record it as soon as you finish the match. Any unhelpful thoughts which you experience during the competitions, after coming out from the match, just sit for a while and write down your thoughts. Then we'll say that question your thoughts and look for evidence and replace your thoughts and be patient to work on that to be helpful. And if possible, you have the availability and accessibility and awareness, please reach out to a professional sports psychologist or psychologist. They definitely help you to come out of this. So in that there are methods are there to build the self-confidence. Once you really, because of this negative thought pattern, if you lose your self-confidence, you can build up to self-confidence by means of self-concept. As we said that self-concept has the 3 dimensions, that ideal self, self-image, as well as self-esteem, and then relaxation methods and JPMR, visualization, imagery, and self-talk. And these things will help any player to make oneself to be very effective. So I will stop here. I request to ask me the questions.
Yeah, let me conclude a little bit. Dr. Virendra, it was a wonderful presentation. Now I think students have understood what can go wrong in your brain. Actually, we have experienced tremendous situations. I think our senior Guruji is here, Olympic gold medalist, senior athlete. They have seen the worst of situations because they had no help. Now what happens many a time, especially the young players, young bache jo hai, fear is the key. Because day before only one boy came to me, he lost a tennis match in 2nd round. I asked him, "Kyun?" He said, "I could beat him, but I was thinking about my mother, what she will think if I lose." So his thought was fear of losing and what happens after losing. Then what he trained, what he learned all these years is all gone. Many times, even the greater players, they reach this situation. Second thing is wrong learning. If you go to school, you learn abuses also and good language also. अगर स्कूल के बाद भी अगर 2 घंटे वहाँ रहोगे ना, गालियाँ भी सीखेंगे, isn't it? Same thing happens. If you train too much, you will learn wrong techniques, wrong serve, outsmarna, and doing fault service. So lesser time and quality time of training will reduce your wrong learning in the court. But people think the more he plays, the bigger player he becomes. Biggest problem in a training centers. And secondly, as he said, we have a lot of data bank in our brain, which is positive and negative. And negative things come out. When you lose, when you get angry, you abuse. You don't say namaste. Same thing happens in the game also. When you are in tension of losing, all your negative things come. What you learned in the court, wrong things, wo sab aa jate hain, and then you lose. And disqualifying the positive content. That's very, very important. I will tell you an example. One boy won the game, uski mother, she came and she was abusing. Why did you give so many points to him? Instead of appreciating his winning the game, you should have beaten him outright. Just imagine. That fellow was thinking she is going to appreciate, but these are the dangerous filters which kill the, your outcome of the game. And lastly, you must write your sports log book, because roz jo chalta hai, any player who doesn't write a log book, he cannot be helped by any professional, because you have a mark sheet in 10th class and 9th class, but you have no mark sheet in sports training. Can you tell me last December, Thursday, 14th, what did you do? Or did he do right, wrong? You don't know. So a record of training is that's how the Olympians are made. Training logbook gives you tremendous feedback from your yesterday's experience, what you learned, what is wrong. So book likhna bahut hi important hai. This is a very wonderful, but it needs a full day workshop actually to understand. I know Dr. Virendra also found tight to communicate because there are a lot of work. And finally, last, but you must write training logbook. You must seek correct solution whenever you require. Don't think psychiatrist के पास जाने से mental होते हैं, mentally बीमार होते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. Mental well-being, not well-being is a very common phase of every human life. You must seek advice for mental well-being. That is one of the important reasons for sports performance, even in your life performance. Thank you very much, sir. It was a wonderful presentation, useful to children.
Any
Questions, please?
Yeah.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Sir, Virendra sir, good morning.
Hi.
It was a very wonderful session, sir. So my question is, so nowadays the youth is very well missing with the cognitive flexibility.
Yeah.
There are lots of problems. You are the right person to guide this audience. How to develop the cognitive flexibility and cognitive thinking is very important.
Right.
Sir, thank you.
See, we first of all we need to make them understand cognitive vaccine. You know vaccine, right? Yes. What is the vaccine? What is the function of the vaccine?
Trains our body to how to detect disease.
What is the purpose of the vaccine? Recently, vaccine has become very popular during the COVID, right? So they started giving the vaccine. Vaccine for what? We have so many vaccinations. When I was a child, infantly also we given a lot of vaccines. Okay? So what vaccine will do? Vaccine will insulate you from all the infections. Isn't it? So what is a cognitive vaccine? Insulate from the unhelpful thinking habits. Right? When something is continuously make on feeling bad, making depressed, or you are getting too many comments from your friends and the relatives and the family, from the teachers, it means that you are supposed to challenge your pattern of behavior. We always not be flexible because we work on the all or nothing electric switch functioning. either ऐसा होना नहीं तो एसी होना और इसके बीच में कुछ भी नहीं है. And we don't go with any kind of adaptability and adjustment method. Why? Because we were all trained by like that. We keep on thinking the same pattern, and it is being endorsed by your elders or people who are, under whom you are growing up. They fail to correct it. They fail to tell you that this is not supposed to be this method. You are supposed to be always like a flexible nature, like a water. The water gets the shape in which utensil you pour. Is it or not? So you need to have the ability to adapt. So first of all, to adapt things, what you need to do? You need to have the ability to accept it. So once you accept the things, then automatically your way of looking at the things will change. So for that, you need to develop the cognitive vaccine, and that vaccine is to overcome from this 10 unhelpful thought process. And then if you can start training it, you'll become more flexible, and also it helps you to emerge as a successful human being and also a successful athlete. Okay? Okay, sir? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, any other questions, please? Sir, you wanted to ask
one more.
Yeah, please.
This is truly well designed, well developed and well delivered. For my own learning, sporting success has been based on skill and will. Which part do you give more preference to achieve the top performance in Olympics?
Yeah.
What do you?
Which skill or will? You see,
I can explain.
I could understand.
Skill is your weapon and will is your wisdom. How you define success in Olympic competition, whether skill or will? Which portion you give more preference?
See, at the Olympic level, skill level still I think most of the people will have in the same level. But once you have that will, when the skill and will are really combined, then will always lead the skill, then only you will be able to successful. And the people who are all successful, those people always have the will is in the forefront, then follow the skill. Then only you will be able to successfully.
I will add up something to your this thing, to gist up something what you have presented. That thinking is when, why, where, which, what, and who, and how to start. And when, why, where, which, how to stop. I think that is the gist of your lecture. Where one should be ideal and one should know when, where 6W and 1H to start and 6W and 1H to stop. Only then you will have the proper thinking. And the second thing is you should believe in law of impermanence with your experience, not with your only brain understanding. I think with your experience you should understand the law of impermanence. Only then you will have what you call multiple options henceforth. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your...
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. From this session, like what we have understood that whatever happens, like achievement or the failure, it's 80% psychosomatic and 20% actually it happens. So we need to work on psychosomatic, and we have a psychologist over here to deal with the problems. And with this, like I would like to hand over the mic to Dr. Dakane sir. I would like to invite Dr. Dokrat sir to give away the certificates. Sir, please.
I also request Senior PI Madhur Nimbalkar to be on the dais to distribute the... No, you sir, please. Yes, sir.
I request Nimbalkar sir to please present the certificate to C. I request Bansod sir to please present the certificate to Bakhtiyar sir. Thank you. One group photo. Come closer. Sir. Thank you everyone. I hand over this mic to Dr.
I request Madhur Nimbalkar sir, Senior PI, and some Bansod sir to be on the dais. I request Madhur sir, Nimbalkar sir, and Bansod sir to be on the dais. And I request our beloved friend Dilip Hebrew sir, the ex-IPS officer, to be on the dais. I request Hebrew sir to felicitate Madhur Nimbalkar sir with a token of love. Hebrew sir to Madhur Nimbalkar sir. And I request Principal of the institution, Professor Dokrat sir, to felicitate Shyam Bansod sir. I request Sangram sir to be on the dais. Thank you, sir. There will be short break for tea, and this break will be only for 10 minutes. I request the delegates and the resource person to be on the terrace for the tea.